Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled Daf Yomi Moaid Katan 29a, the last daf in the Masechta. The Gemara discusses the importance of going from the Beit Knesset in the morning right to the Bait Midrash. And one who does this is Zocha to Mekabel Pnei Shechina, to greet the Shechina, so to speak. The Gemara is brought down in the Shulchan Aruch after Hechot Tefillah in the morning, that a person, after he finishes davening, must go to the Beit Midrash to learn. The commentaries on the Shulchan Aruch make it quite clear that this should not be adjusted. A person has to have a kviyas. Shulchan Aruch himself, the Ramah mentions, he has to have a kviyas. He cannot adjust his schedule. He thinks it's a big deal today, and therefore he'll come late to learning. He won't come to learning at all. Chas v'shalom. There needs to be kviyas. The most important part of his day is those few hours, hopefully after davening time. Mishna Berura actually mentions a few hours. He says that a Baal Habais who only has 3 to 4 hours to learn, Mishna Berura discusses his schedule, what it should consist of. Sounds quite strange, 3-4 hours a day. Who can handle that? Who's able to? We have to work. Well, it's a very important Mishna Berura. It's something that everyone must do some very serious soul-searching about. Is 3-4 hours a day of learning really an unreachable goal out of our hands? And the question is, we need to work. But it certainly is a legitimate point. We need to work. What is the work for? Do we have very clear standards of what our needs are? How much money we need to make in order to live on a respectable level, but not to indulge? And based on that, that's how many hours a person will work, and therefore he'll be able to go ahead and spend 3-4 hours a day. Or are we going ahead and just putting in a 60-70 hour work week where somehow our goals are lost, and our life is our work and our money and our cars and our homes, etc. So then, of course, 3-4 hours a day of learning sounds like just a fantasy, not part of reality. So a person has to do some serious cheshbon to make sure he could go ahead, have those 3 or 4 hours a day, and then he has it with kviyas. He's never vatel the time. And the post could talk about the great reward for such involvement. Is it possible that sometimes a person doesn't have a high-paying job? He needs to literally put in 60-70 hours a week just to get by on the bare minimum. It certainly is possible. And in such cases, then a person should just try along with whatever precious time he has, some kind of kviyat in the morning, some kind of kviyat in the afternoon, evening. So if he has at least some mitzvah, v'gita b'yomam v'layla. May Hashem bless us all with proper parnasa, with the right attitude towards parnasa, and the ability to go ahead and always see the goal, involvement in Torah, and always remembering Talmud Torah, Keneged Kulam. May we merit the Beracha of this final few lines of the Gemara Moaid Katan, that one who goes from the Shul to the Beit Midrash every day with Kviyat, he merits to see the Shechina, so to speak. Mazel Tov on Siyum. Shalom.